A very short update today, guys. A lot of people out there on Twitter, on other platforms, they are drawing this sort of a parabolic curve which is touching the lows of the price. In fact, you can add a second one which is touching the tops as well. And you can see where this channel is directed is something like $10,000, and then it would be pretty much vertical, so it would be hard to sustain at this level. I don't want to say that I support this idea about that the price will hold within this channel, but still a lot of people see that, and if the price will react with this line at least a couple of more times, you would expect that all of them will trade it accordingly and basically go long, expecting this parabolic rise to continue. It is a sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy, as well as a lot of the people are looking at this level, which is like 8,480, saying that, you see, we had a pullback of this level because it was the level of this peak, it is very strong, and so on and so forth. But you can imagine that it happened like 10 months ago, and of course all the traders who are participating in the trading in this area, more likely they changed their position several times, so there's basically not so much of the resistance at this point anymore. But still, this is another example of how the expectations from the masses become reality just because everybody do the same thing. Now, short term, on the 1 hour time frame, you see that after this sideways price action, we had basically the return of the price to the same area which we had before, very close to the resistance. So, you know, the more we try to break it, the more likely we will do that eventually. And although this is pretty much like a Bart Simpson pattern, but you also may think that at some point when the huge players try to see how the market will react on this dump, and they actually try to even push the price a little lower, but it didn't initiate any of the panic sell or something like that, so they realized that the bulls are probably really strong and people don't want to sell their positions, so they instead made a bold move and pushed the price to the previous state, especially because this is the thin market during the weekend, so it's easy to do. Now a lot of people are looking at the indicators, saying that, for example, you may see that we had the divergence, for example, on RSI, and like we had this higher highs here, but we have lower highs on RSI, which is a bearish divergence, so we had this drop. And guys, first of all, I would like to encourage you to remember this picture because many people make mistakes. So if we are looking at the tops of the price and indicator, we always have a bearish divergence, and there is a regular divergence, which is the most reliable one, and hidden and exaggerated divergences, which are not that important, and I wouldn't really recommend to trade those. And when we're looking at the lows, those are bullish divergences. And again, regular one when we have the lower low on the price and a higher low on the indicator, this is the most reliable one. So at this point we had the bearish divergences on RSI, but 1 hour time frame, really, I would better look at something like at least 4 hours time frame. And 4 hours time frame, it has this divergence as well. It's actually a bit more clear, so you see lower highs here, almost lower highs on stochastic oscillator as well, and in fact if you look at the histogram of MACD, you would see lower highs here as well. So pretty much convincing that we must see the decrease in the price. But now after that we see the rise, all of them. We have higher highs on all three indicators, we have higher lows in those indicators, we have higher lows and higher highs for the price, which is not divergence but convergence. So I would say this already played out, so we may safely expect that the continuation of the previous trend is really likely to happen. And especially now if you look at the daily time frame, those divergences which happened before almost negligible right now. Only stochastic oscillator shows a little bit of divergence, but again, just a very few days in this area, so we can't really say about the highs and lows over here. But before that, the price action was pretty much going sideways. So again, very hard to say about the highs and lows. And if you zoom out even more and look at the weekly time frame, then here both RSI and MACD are pretty bullish. They are following the price uptrend, and only stochastic oscillators seemingly have problems going higher, and you may say that this is something like a bearish divergence with a low reliability, especially that you don't have really highs here, you just have the increase in the price. So considering all that, but I would say that we have a pretty nice chance to continue that. And let's look at how the weekly time frame will close, because our potential doji over here, now it doesn't look like a doji at all. And if Bitcoin will continue to go within this channel, maybe we will see some more rise of the altcoins, which had a little bit of the pullback recently because of this jump in the price of Bitcoin. So that is it for today. I hope it was useful. Thank you for watching.